Hello! So to start off then, of course, I always want to say that if you like this video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell. And today, talking about allegorical figures on coins. The use of allegorical figures on coins dates back almost to the very first coins that were ever struck in ancient Greece and later ancient Rome. The Romans especially liked to use female figures to represent various virtues such as good fortune, peace, victory, and one that my American friends will recognize, liberty. These female figures were not goddesses. They were not worshipped, just as the Statue of Liberty in New York City is not worshipped. However, side note, in Japanese, the Statue of Liberty is called Juno Megami, which literally means goddess of freedom. But this is why they are called allegorical figures rather than goddesses, at least in English. A surprisingly large number of countries use allegorical figures on their coins, so I'll cover only a few today and we'll do others in the future. First, let's start with Argentina. This figure here is known as Libertad, and she is a young lady wearing a Phrygian cap, if you can make it out on the picture there. This cap has represented freedom for a very long time, actually since at least ancient Roman times, when freed slaves wore the cap to symbolize and communicate their newfound freedom. Next up here then is Belgium. So let's look at this one first. We have a female who is kneeling to wash her legs and feet, presumably after a long walk, wearing no shoes. She is also packing a sword and a shield. Might be kind of hard to make out there. Shield's behind her and the sword is on her left side. And this lady, along with the caduceus, that's what that symbol is in the middle there with the wings and the two snakes on the pole. There's a caduceus. Together, these two symbols are supposed to represent Belgium recovering from World War I. The 5 franc, along with the 1 franc, has what is known as a Laureate Bust. Now, the Laureate Bust is kind of a funny name to call it because they're not wearing laurel leaves. In fact, her head appears to have 2 sheaves of barley and a sprig of hops. Fortunately, I don't have a close-up of that, but it's hard. But you could probably make out there at the top of her head is the barley sheaves, and then down the neck area there is back of the neck there's a sprig of hops. Now, perhaps these symbols are to portray the production of beer. That's something that Belgium happens to be very good at. Having a female figure to represent beer production is not that odd, considering that beer making used to be quote-unquote women's work, done in the kitchen, until production was eventually moved to larger scale breweries to meet the great demand for beer. Now, the next ones you may have already seen if you've seen my previous video on Brazil and hyperinflation. And this one, like the Argentine Libertad, the Brazilian Libertad also has the Phrygian cap that I mentioned earlier. The 10 centavos is a bit smaller, and because it is made out of stainless steel, they had to use a rather low relief, and it was decided just to strike her face rather than the whole bust, because the whole bust would have been a lot more difficult to strike cleanly on a hard metal like stainless steel. So that's the modern Brazil coin with again, this would be Libertad. And the last one today is from a country not known for using allegorical designs on coins, and that is my home country, of Canada. Now, this lady on the coin, I'll just lift it right out of here and get a closer look at her. This lady is referred to as Miss Canada, not to be mistaken for the beauty pageant of the same name. Her story is that she is the daughter of the British allegorical figure known as Britannia. And I'll talk about Britannia in a future episode. The use of Miss Canada peaked in popularity during World War I, but as Canada became more independent of British influence, she was pretty much gone by the end of World War II in terms of being used in posters or advertising. In fact, I had never even knew that Canada had this particular allegorical figure until I saw this coin for sale in the Royal Canadian Mint catalogue in 2013. I saw it in the catalogue and decided just had to have it. Oh, I'm not sponsored by the Royal Canadian Mint, by the way. I just happen to like some of their coins. Now, to revive her today, though, she'd have to be very different in some ways. She'd have to be a woman, not just the daughter of Britannia, but she'd have to be someone with a variety of talents and probably fairly different values compared to 100 years ago. My feeling, though, is that in an attempt to make her multi-talented, she would end up looking like a Canadian Barbie doll. The name may also have to be changed too, I think. How about Lady Canada? Yeah, sounds like a good name for a pop singer or a Cocker Spaniel. Anyway, you can see the problem of attempting to use her today. It just wouldn't work out very well, I don't think. But I did like this particular coin, and so I bought it. And by the way, they are still fairly easy to get, and they're priced at the same original price that I paid for it 8 years ago, $34.95 Canadian. Obviously, I didn't buy this as intending it as an investment. I bought it because I liked it. But if you like it too, it's $34.95 on several sites online. So that's a few examples of female allegorical figures, and I will cover more in a future video. If you have any questions, please post in the comments, of course, and if you have any suggestions for any economical or collectible coins, please let me know. I just might have it in my collection. And I thank you very much again for watching.